Sunday school kids, all go to the other side. Everybody else can move forward. Sunday school kids can go to the other side for class. Everybody else can move forward. Turns towards the speaker. We'll have a class now. Please keep your phones on mute, vibrate.
Yeah, where's the Madanga player? Madanga player? Nobody beats Madanga? Oh boy, you have to a lot of learning to do. Okay, no problem. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Dana Balama Givanani Gopi Dana Balama Givanani Yasoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yasoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tera Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Ballabha Givanari Gopi Jana Ballabha Givanari Yasoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yasoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Tonight's verse, that's from the 9th chapter, the most confidential knowledge. Text 32. So we'll repeat the Sanskrit together. Repeat after me. Mam ipata vyaspasritya yepi sun papa yonaya streyo vaishas tata sudras tepi yanti param gatim. Repeat after me. O son of Pritha, those who take shelter in me, though they be born of lower birth, women, Vaishyas, and Sudras, can attain the supreme destination. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. It is clearly declared here by the Supreme Lord that in devotional service, there is no distinction between the lower and the higher classes of people. In the material conception of life, there are such distinctions. But for a person engaged in transcendental devotional service to the Supreme Lord, they are not. Everyone is eligible for the supreme destination. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that even the lowest, who's called Chandala, a dog eater, can be purified by the association of a pure devotee. Therefore, devotional service and the guidance of a pure devotee are so strong that there is no discrimination between the lower and higher classes of men. Anyone can take to it. The most simple man taking shelter of the pure devotee can be purified by proper guidance. According to the different modes of material nature, men are classified in the modes of goodness, brahmanas, the modes of passion, kshatriyas and administrators, the mixed modes of passion and ignorance, vaishyas or merchants, and the mode of ignorance, sudras or workers. Those lower than them are called chandalas, and they are born in sinful families. Generally, the association of those born in sinful families is not accepted by the higher classes. But in the process of devotional service, it is so strong that the pure devotee of the Supreme Lord can enable people of all the lower classes to attain to the highest perfection of life. This is possible only when one takes shelter of Krishna, as indicated here by the word Vyaspasritya. One has to take shelter completely of Krishna. Then one can become even much greater than great jnanis and yogis. Mam hi partas Vyaspasritya yepi san papa joniya streyo tatas Vaishastata Sudras Tipiyanti Param Gatim. O son of Pritha, those who take shelter in me, though they be born of lower birth, women, Vaishyas, and Sudras can attain the supreme destination. Oma Ginam Timirandasya Ginam Ginam Shalakaya Chakshur Militam Dena Tajmai Shri Guruve Namaha Vanchakalpa Turubhyascha Kripasindu Vevacha Patitanam Papanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So this very important verse in Bhagavad Gita, spoken by Lord Krishna, it is showing us this how this verse is, this whole Hare Krishna movement is resting on this verse. Because this verse is describing that it doesn't matter in Kali Yuga, it doesn't matter where you're born, where you're from, your family, if it was sinful, if it was pious. The opportunity is given by Lord Chaitanya, very important, that if you take to the what? Shelter of a pure devotee. Now, usually, generally, we don't seek a pure devotee. We're just seeking after, Krishna. But it becomes very difficult to find Krishna without a pure devotee because of, like I stated in this verse here, the guidance. In the material world, without the guidance, we are, blind. We're not seeing God. We're just seeing the creation of God, right? Of course, you cannot have a creation without a creator to create it properly, right? So those persons who are not seeing God creating everything and why he's doing everything is, wasting time. You have to leave the body. If this job doesn't get done with your spiritual life to become self-realized, what? You'll have to take birth again. That's called samsara. And God doesn't want to show you how many births you've taken already. God doesn't want to reveal to you how long you've been here, how long you've been suffering, right? So it seems that every time you take birth is the first time you ever took birth. Right? But then we get the description of the spirit soul. What is that? Eternal. Satchidananda Vigaha. So the soul is not destroyed at any time. Or neither is it born at any time. Like you see these children, they're not new things, because you can see they're already persons, they're already perfect already. I mean, they're already complete already. So therefore, what is the guidance that pure devotee is giving? It's the same guidance, to make a success of this life and to reach the spiritual dimension. That can be reached. It's not very difficult. Just like this process is given by Lord Chaitanya. What is it? Just chanting and dancing, isn't it? Right? Just chanting and dancing. You see, why is chanting and dancing giving self-realization? Many people are dancing and singing, right? They're not becoming self-realized. So, but because the singing and dancing is connected to Krishna, that is the main thing. This word Krishna is Krishna himself. That is, Prabhupada said that in the spiritual world, the name and the form and the person is the same thing. But in the material world, the form of the person is not the same as the person. And so to find these things out about life, we cannot find them out from somebody who doesn't know what it is. Somebody, like I described in Bhagavad Gita, that one has to abandon different varieties of religious understanding, my religion, this religion, that religion. One has to become purified from that, first of all, to understand that God is one. Brahmatmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavan, iti subjective. There's the impersonal Brahman, there's the localized Paramatma, and there's the Supreme Personality of God. There's different aspects of God. If we just think that only one aspect, Brahman realization, impersonal, then we do not get the love of God. It's very difficult to love the spiritual light. Although the spiritual light is there within us, it's very difficult to love that in an impersonal way. So that is in spiritual life, you're approaching God, you have to fight against, what is that? The false ego. Nobody can take shelter of a pure devotee who is puffed up. And conditioned souls are puffed up. They don't know anything, but they walk like they know everything. So they seem to be puffed up. And we could remove the puffed up attitude, we can remove impurities by taking shelter of a pure devotee. Pure devotee is not like, a pure devotee is very rare person can become a pure devotee. Of course, everyone can become that. It's not something exclusive in a group, only this group can become purified. People try to do that in their contaminated state. That's why, what is Srila Prabhupada? He gave Krishna consciousness to everybody. He didn't see if this person is qualified, if this person is unqualified, right? Because everybody is part of Krishna, they can just get the training, that's all. You just get the training and you follow the training and you have to have love for the association. You have love for the devotees. If you don't have love for the devotees, then Krishna will be displeased with you. That's part of the spiritual world. In the material world, we don't care about anybody. We don't have to love anyone. But in the spiritual world, if you want to make spiritual advancement, it's a whole different story. That's why the training is there. Nobody can just pick up with it and find it out just like that. That is God's test. You can't make like God is not, important. Because God will show you that I'm very important, I'm not joking around. And therefore, you learn from the pure devotee teaches, gradually how to become purified by chanting mantras. Just like we have this Hare Krishna mantra, very purifying mantra. You keep chanting it, then what will happen is you have three bodies. You don't have just the gross body, you have the subtle body and you have the spiritual body. So by purifying the gross body, you come in contact with the subtle body and the spiritual body. When you come in contact with the spiritual body, then you become a very happy person, because the spiritual body is full of such eternity, bliss, and knowledge, bliss and ecstasy. What people are looking for in whatever the activities they're doing, they're trying to find this, bliss and ecstasy. They even have a drug called ecstasy. So everybody's trying to find that. And, you won't get the ecstasy in material life. That is the problem. You'll never get the ecstasy in material life. Material life will make you happy to some degree. You pay your bills, you have enough Lakshmi to do everything. That's very nice, very comfortable. But still, you won't be in ecstasy about that. And so that is the only thing will make us happy. It's a transcendental ecstasy from the spiritual platform. And if we want to get that, if we're serious about that, then we have to follow in the line of how Krishna is giving it through his pure devotees. And it's not like a new thing that Krishna just started giving it through pure devotees. Even since the beginning of time, Krishna has been doing it that way. Beginning from Lord Brahma. In Krishna consciousness, we have all the information of the whole universe and everything. Why everything is going on. Generally, people cannot understand why everything is going on. Why I'm here in the first place, How come I'm not in Vaikuntha? Why I have to leave Vaikuntha? There's a lot of questions. If you don't ask the questions, you won't get the answer. So approaching the bona fide spiritual master, Krishna will provide. As soon as you're serious, then the spiritual master is already there. It'll be there already. It's just concerned with who is taking life seriously to make the spiritual progress, to get out of here. And that is the plan for the whole material existence. The reason why you're here, we have to investigate. And as far as we can understand from the authorities, is that we have what is called, minute independence. Just like there are people coming to the temple and then people not coming to the temple. That's because of independence, you have your own independence, your own initiative. I want to do this. So the Lord is working with that. If somebody wants to do that, then he's all for them, he'll help them. If somebody doesn't want to do that right now, he's okay with that too. You know, so he's like neutral. So God is observing, but there's the law of karma that is a disturbance because because the law of karma, unknowingly, if we don't know what the laws are, we break the laws, then unknowingly we become challenged by the punishment out of not knowing what the laws are. So it's described here very important in this verse. You know, there's different classifications of persons based on their the conscious level, whether that consciousness is in the mode of goodness, like it's described here. To be in the mode of goodness, that means Brahminical, or as Prabhupada describes it, Brahmanas. So the Krishna conscious movement is doing what? Training Brahmanas. If you have society, you have no Brahmanas, then what is society is going to be misled. And that is exactly what's going on today. There is no Brahmanas. That Brahmana has to be qualified, you know. Not just I stick on a robe, I become a Brahmana. My father's a Brahmana, you know, so therefore I'm a Brahmana. It doesn't work like this because of the minute independence. It's very important. And so this is the way the Krishna conscious movement is spreading all through the world, because it's giving opportunities to everyone, no matter who, in Alaska, in Mongolia, everywhere. Everyone can become a devotee of Krishna. Why? Because Krishna is God. Those who do not know that, then, you know, they should get the information properly. And what is the incarnation in this age? Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda. There's nobody can compare with their information. Nobody can compare with them. Especially Nityananda, nobody can compare with him. His mercy, his qualities, his sweet qualities. These are all described. You know, Lord Chaitanya was only here just about 500 years ago, a little more than 500 years ago. That's not very long. So God comes to this place. God definitely comes here. But God is going to only let you know if he wants to let you know. If he doesn't want to let you know, you won't know. Not knowing means what? Means you're in darkness. And darkness means what? Darkness means unhappiness. We cut our relationship with Krishna, we feel the pain. And that's our position in material life. What we do, just like when you have a pain, you try to take some medicine to kill the pain, but you know, a lot of times what you really need is an operation to remove the whole situation, which is the determination of a pure devotee, is to make a determination, a not total existence, you know, make a total determination to be out of here and to be in the spiritual world. That's a lot different than just going to the heavenly planets to have a good time. That's a total solution. So this is what this Krishna consciousness is very serious. And it can help us come to the platform where we can be in ecstasy, be in ananda. And, you know, we cannot experience that unless we do the processes. What we could do is associate with persons who cultivate that themselves. And then by their association, we get some of that. This is the way it works. By association, you can't just associate casually. We have to be able to associate, you know, deeply and of significant association. In the material world, we take our friends lightly, you know. We take our parents lightly. We take our wives or husbands lightly. The relationships are like small. We have to find out how to make our relationship deep and sincere relationships with devotees and with people in general. You know, why everyone became influenced by Prabhupada? Very interesting, you know, it's not just philosophy. People became influenced by Prabhupada. Why? Because of his character, his personal qualities, you know, who he was. And that is something that can only be developed through practice. If you don't have something, you have to work on it to get it. You cannot just think, I don't have it. That's not Krishna consciousness. You don't have it, you get it. You work towards it. You find out, anytime you approach Krishna, anytime you approach, just like you approach this temple, anytime you approach this temple, you'll get Krishna. Anytime you approach, you'll get Krishna, all the time. If you have a question, You may not even know what the question is. The Lord will answer that question for you. He's all pervading. He's all knowing. He knows everyone. And so the important thing in this verse is to take shelter. That means that we cannot do it all ourselves. Prabhupada gives the example that when you see a lion and when you see a little baby lion next to his father, he's very happy because his father is the protector. So he's not worried. All those other animals are running from his father. Right? So when you're a devotee, you have no problem because your father is in charge. Everyone else is running. And so it's very important, not just for your own happiness, not just for your own satisfaction, your own liberation, but it's for everyone else also. You have to become, it's not like Srila Prabhupada is a pure devotee, that's very nice, But you have to become a pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada too. That is what pure devotees are giving. They're not giving something cheap, oh, just follow them. Yeah? They give you what they attain. And they show you how to attain it. And it, of course, there's qualities you need to have to attain the thing. And those qualities, we all have good qualities as devotees, And those qualities can increase more and more by the purification process, by association, and by, love for association. You have to, just like those of us who have a spiritual master, who the spiritual master is passed away, right? Then you feel a big separation from your spiritual master. And in that separation, you change. It changes you. You want to do something for your spiritual master. And that's a lot different than just wanting to be somebody yourself. It's much pure doing things for the spiritual master, out of love for the spiritual master. And that is actually how you can find love, is by being loved by the spiritual master. Not only the spiritual master, but being cared for and loved by devotees also. You find Krishna too. Because what's in the back of devotees? Krishna is in the back of his devotees. He's there, like it's described here, the guidance. We just we don't want to just see pure devotees. Oh, they're very nice, they're very nice. We want to take shelter with them and we want to take their guidance. Doesn't matter who. This Krishna conscious movement is actually the same as the family. It's a family thing, because the spiritual master is like described as our father. Spiritual master carry the energy of a father, and his wife, the wife of the spiritual master, is our mother. And the godbrothers of our spiritual master is our uncle, and who are the nephews. So it's family, grandfather. Just like my father is Srila Prabhupada. My grandfather is Srila Bhaktisiddhanta. My great-grandfather is Gauri Kishore Das Babaji. So the same love for family, once it's applied to Krishna consciousness, then you become purified because you're attached to Krishna. You're not just attached to something, material. And so that's a whole transformation. Prabhupada describes that as the caterpillar that becomes the butterfly. So we're all like the caterpillar. But, by the process of Krishna consciousness, we can become like the butterfly. And we can become the pure devotee. It does not mean, oh, I'm a pure devotee, but it means a service. Pure devotees engaged in serving Krishna and doing his service there are a certain amount of persons that are going to Krishna. The Lord provides their approach to him by he's sending the particular devotees just suitable to what they need to understand. And he's guiding his pure devotees because the Lord wants to impress on us the importance of, his devotees in devotional service. It's not taking away from Krishna, but it's a requirement to be in the spiritual world. In the spiritual world, everybody is like this, very pure, very concerned about each other, very supportive of every other entity. That's a spiritual dimension. As soon as someone is not in agreement with that, then they cannot stay there. That is the problem. And we have this minute independence, which is obvious. Like I said before, some people, they go to the temple, some other people, they don't have no time for that. So everybody can see the same thing. Everybody's seeing the same planet, everybody's seeing the same stars. But it's left to us to make a determination how we'll get to the proper position. Not only after you leave the body, but right here now while you're living, you'll be in good consciousness, you'll become more and more, happy and blissful, and able actually to do something about the problems of life that society really is missing the knowledge. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta said that the world is not missing anything. It's just missing Krishna consciousness. So there, without that, so we as devotees who are developing the Krishna consciousness, the Lord is going to use us to give it to the people. And so when you come to Krishna consciousness, it's not just about saving yourself. You are following the guidance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Just like when we came and joined the movement with Srila Prabhupada, we wanted to, go and meditate in the forest, go and meditate in the garden, things like that. But Prabhupada made us go distribute books in the cities with the people. So although we had ideas, nice ideas of meditation and things, Prabhupada brought us down to earth that, you have to do this, follow this. And actually, if you try to distribute books or something like that, you'll actually find Krishna doing that. Because you have to learn to give to someone else. You have to learn to give, be a giving person, just like Srila Prabhupada, right? He was in India at his age. What is he doing coming to the West with no money? Just believing in his spiritual master? And there were so many people that told Prabhupada, why are you doing that, Even the person that, Morariji, I think she gave Prabhupada the boat ride, right? Prabhupada's like Columbus, the same way Columbus discovered on the boat, Prabhupada also Jaladuta. He discovered, the new world of Krishna consciousness. So there were so many discouragements, but Prabhupada was determined. That teaches us that if you're determined, then Krishna will reciprocate. You don't have to be worried that Krishna will not reciprocate with you. We're looking for Krishna. We're looking for what Krishna is offering. There's no doubt about it. And but the whole thing is how to get that, how to learn, just like what is Krishna giving us when we approach him? The devotee association. He's not coming up to the altar and saying, here he is, right? He can do that because there's instances where the deity has acted out to different devotees. So Krishna can always do that. But why is he not doing that? Because he wants us to learn how to associate with devotees. When you associate with devotees, very nice, but also you can find your faults by association. Maybe somebody will be kind enough to tell you that's your fault. If you hear your faults, then you would, just like if you have a garden, you have to be attentive to the garden. If there's something growing to attack the plants that you have to be aware of that. So the heart is like that. It's describing nectar devotion that there's these birds of sinful reactions that's hanging on the heart, just like you have birds that are hanging in the bats, they hang on the tree. When you make a loud sound and clap, then they fly away. So similarly, all these sinful reactions are on the heart. When you clap and dance, they fly away. That's the process of devotional service. The purification means that the energy chases away the impure, bad reactions. And that's the only way to deal with that. So it's like a medicine. You take the medicine and you cure the illness. Very simple. And but it can only be given by Krishna and the pure devotees to persons who are, Krishna is choosing those persons to get that information. It's going for everyone, but not everyone wants to know that. And not just that, but not everyone is working towards that. If you're working towards that, the Lord is going to give you that because you're working towards that. You should have faith. If you come to this temple, one day if you don't have a spiritual master, you might see your spiritual master here at this place. So the opportunity is there that Krishna is within your reach. Krishna is within your grasp. That is how it's become very easy because of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So in the Krishna consciousness, we should think about how to give it to someone else, how to give it to other people. There's so many cities, and we have to fall in the following of Lord Chaitanya. What is the prophecy? The prophecy is already coming true, isn't it a fact? That this Krishna consciousness will be spread throughout the world. That's already happening. This is one person did that already. Yeah, it's already going on. It's not like a prophecy anymore. It already happened already. And so now, as Lord Chaitanya's followers, as Krishna's followers, we take up our services in that great, what Lord Chaitanya has given, Yuga Avatar. Another process, if you try to do it, it may be authorized, but it will be very difficult to do in this age. But this process, as you see how the children are dancing, it's easy, right? It's not very hard. If you're expecting God to be very hard, you won't get good, because you're expecting God to be too difficult and too easy. But if you see that, what is Krishna doing? Playing and having a good time with children. How much brain power you need to understand that? What that is. So this is very simple. The purification is there. This is the yagna, the sacrifice for the age, the yagna for the age, chanting and dancing. You cannot be, if you see in the chanting and dancing, even the grown-ups are dancing, right? Grown-ups are dancing like children. If the grown-ups say, oh, I'm a grown-up, I don't dance, I'm a grown-up. No, then you won't be able to develop the Krishna prema. Very important, We're not, we're God's children, right? We're not equal to God, God's friend. We can become God's friend, but that's still just like Arjuna was Krishna's friend, but he didn't know that Krishna was the supreme person. So we really can't be Krishna's friend. Krishna can put us into that we can be his friend. But when Arjuna found out that he was Krishna, he was shocked that Krishna was God. So, we're indebted to the parampara, just like in our sampradaya, you have very nice devotees, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, who has studied about him and everything, very interesting person. He was the first person that desired that Krishna consciousness should be spread all over the world. Krishna showed him different visions that in the future, there will be Europeans and there'll be a lot of other kinds of people as devotees all over the world. And he inspired his son, Bhaktisiddhanta. So it's all personal. And this is where, you get the ecstasy from, the personal relationships and the personal understanding. You have to jump into it. You cannot just stand, it's like going to the debate. You cannot just go along the side and tip it, put a foot in the water a little bit. You got to jump in and take a dive. And you have to be, feel comfortable and feel assured that you're doing the right thing and you're with the right association. As long as we can see persons who are making advancement, then we will advance. And that is the way how it happens. And then as soon as these very nice ecstasies develop within a person, then their problems are solved. Then their problems, our problem really is about happiness in the material world. That's what everybody's striving to be happy. If somebody tells you, I'm not striving to be happy, they're not being very honest. The Prabhupada said nobody's going after miseries, but miseries are coming due to bad karma. And so the knowledge is there and we have to take part in it. It won't happen if we don't take part in it. If you see the activities going on, find an activity that you like to do for Krishna in devotional service. Don't just, you like Krishna, do something for Krishna and then you'll find Krishna. Prabhupada said, by doing something. Just like when we were with Srila Prabhupada, Once Srila Prabhupada told us, what we like to do is follow Prabhupada around. He's going to this temple, he's going to that temple, follow him here, meet him over there, he's over there. And Prabhupada told us one time, don't chase me around all over the place. And he said to go out and do something for the spiritual master. And that's why you'll find him that way. And that is actually the fact. When you take it upon yourself to do something, then you find Krishna. So it's very easy. And the training is there. In the beginning, you have to fix this Hare Krishna mantra in your mind. Just like if your devotees that are chanting continually, that's developing their, it's like a recording. The recording itself is purifying. So even if you're not doing anything, you'll still hear the Hare Krishna mantra. Isn't that a fact? If you keep chanting, then as soon as you become silent, you'll hear Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So that is the way the purification works for the mind. Because the mind have to have something to think about to become purified. They have to have something to fix on. In the old days, they would fix the mind on a form of Lord Vishnu and meditate on that. Just like we're focused on the deities. This is the same meditation. The exact same thing. Except the yogi can do it in the heart. And because we're not advanced yogis, the Lord has provided, we can do it outside. So it's the same thing. But it's focusing on the form of God. Either the form of God or the name of God. The name of God and the form of God is the same. So the form of God, if you keep seeing it, you keep meditating, then that form of God will manifest within your heart because of continually seeing the form. You go home, you remember what the form of Krishna is. You have an image of Krishna's form in your mind. That is developed by your continuously going to the deity. Do you have a form of Krishna in your mind in the hearing audio? That will become purified by the more you hear the chanting. That's why devotees are taking up the bead bag and chanting Hare Krishna all the time. And then this will develop. That constant chanting and connection with Krishna on the inside. So it's a practice. It's called sadhana. You practice. And then there's the other things also. You have to be the correct kind of person. You cannot do the practices. Devotee means qualities. Your devotee means automatically is a nice person. You cannot have a devotee who's not nice. It doesn't work like that. In the material world, you can have a person who is not nice. A so-called religious person or a so-called spiritual person who's not nice. But in Krishna consciousness, that doesn't exist. Because you have to be a good person, quality, to find Krishna in the first place. So that is what this Krishna consciousness is about, developing the good qualities, working on them. Nobody likes to know what their bad qualities are. But the bad qualities are there, or else if the bad qualities wasn't there, you'd be a pure devotee. Prabhupada said too that if you don't notice how something is dirty unless you start cleaning. So your heart is like that. You don't know what the dirt is until you start cleaning it. And when you start cleaning, you say, oh my God, I didn't know my heart was so messed up. And then you'll get better at it, and then you'll find it really. Prabhupada instructed us that the enemy in the beginning, that's called the false ego. It needs to be challenged, You need to become humble by doing services. If somebody, even if in the beginning, when you're brahmachari, that's why brahmacharis, they make advancement because they get the good training. They have to do this. A brahmachari cannot say, oh, I don't want to do anything. Right? Brahmachari, do this, mop the floor, do the other thing. A brahmachari means submissive. Prabhupada said that a brahmachari, if the spiritual master says, I'm not feeding nobody this morning, he fasts all day. So he's always dependent on the spiritual master. If the spiritual master doesn't supply anything, he'll do without. So that's brahmachari training. Makes you very strong and able to do the services of Krishna. Because when you're doing Krishna services, you're going to be tested. It's not going to be easy all the time. Well, Prabhupada came and distributed all over the world. Was it easy? No. Prabhupada said he walked through fire for this movement. So many disadvantages. But nothing can stop or nothing can get in the way of Krishna. That we have to have that determination and that faith. that once you are in the right mood, once you're following Prabhupada properly and following the authorities and doing the right thing for Krishna, you are going to benefit. There's no doubt about it. And we can see that practically. If somebody takes to Krishna consciousness, then their whole life becomes better. That's a tangible experience. The thing is, being fortunate enough, how can you get the fortune to meet a pure devotee? You have to be very fortunate to meet one. What to speak of getting diksha from that person and following them? You have to be fortunate. You have to be, serious. God is only taking on the serious people. The people that are not serious, they can go over there and do whatever. But for the serious person, you're the serious people, and therefore Krishna has made himself available for you. And Krishna fulfilled his promise to his devotee. This is one promise of Krishna in this verse. Anybody who surrenders and takes shelter of him, he's going to be there for them. That's the promise. Every promise that Krishna makes, he fulfills that promise. So we should not doubt it. And for the person who doesn't doubt it, then they can become pure devotee, which is not something strange, because you're part of Krishna. So why shouldn't you be able to become a pure devotee? God is not, you're God's child, or God is your father. So the relationship is there. Even if we don't know, still the relationship is there. As soon as you can establish a relationship, then the relationship becomes alive. Once the relationship is alive, then you're living. And so that is called, rasa. Very deep subject matter, rasa. Very deep subject matter. A lot of literatures talk about that, the relationship. And you see Krishna, right? He has all these relationships. He even have relationships with demons, right? What is the relationship with demons, right? They're getting a hard time from him, right? Because Krishna has likes and he has dislikes. He likes nice things. He doesn't like not nice things. So we have to face that. Not like if Krishna likes something, we have to be able to recognize that we like that also. And if Krishna doesn't like something, we have to come to the point where we don't like that either. So we get on Krishna's side. That's the whole thing, to come over on Krishna's side. And where you're protected, where you're cared for, where you're guided properly. And this other side without Krishna is a difficulty, is a stress, is a lot of problem. So that is basically what this verse is about. Very important verse, because it gives us the opportunity to see that Krishna is making himself available for everyone. We should not keep Krishna just for ourselves. That's what's Prabhupada's great achievement, is that he made it available for everyone else. So we have to develop that, and we have to learn in the association of devotees how to become a pure devotee. Once we learn that properly and then we become pure devotees, then we can do the services. We ourselves can find our own internal happiness. And that means a lot to us. If somebody says, oh no, happiness doesn't mean anything to me, he doesn't know what they're talking about. Because this is not like just material happiness. This is not like you get an ice cream and you eat that or something. This is a very deep, advanced platform of happiness that belongs to the soul. And that's what it is about, how to bring that, how to attain that by patience, by determination, by study. There's a lot of nice literatures you could be reading, especially Nectar of Devotion, 6 Goswamis, Rupa Goswami. All these advanced persons are here in the Krishna consciousness movement. Narada Muni, Srila Vyasadeva is who wrote all the literatures. So we're associating all the time with these great devotees. And in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Lord Shiva, Lord Ganesh, everybody is there in these literatures, guiding everyone. So it's not like you can take shelter of Krishna in the form of the guidance that's coming from pure devotees. And then when that is understood properly and practiced, then Krishna will manifest himself. Okay, very easy, not very complicated. You don't actually have to study all of the Vedic literatures to become a pure devotee. You shouldn't feel like that. Oh, there's too many literature against it. As I said before, you can get it very simply, very easily. and understand it very easily and learn to practice it. Association, love for association, respect for association, and then you'll be qualified to be in the spiritual world. Okay? So any questions? Prabhupada always he asks us to, at the end of talks, to ask if there's any questions. Very nice. Because there's so many places you go and there's no room for asking no questions. Because there's no answers. Okay. But we in Krishna consciousness, right? We have all the answers for everything. It's not a proud statement, but it's because we're connected with Lord Chaitanya and Srila Prabhupada. Okay. So any questions, Prabhus or Matajis? One question.
Go ahead.
So it's just that I was wondering, like at the beginning, you said that every person is allowed to practice Krishna consciousness, but shouldn't it be like souls? But animals and plants who also have souls aren't allowed the same Krishna consciousness as us humans. Why is that?
Very nice question. I like that question. Very nice. Very nice question, right? Actually, if you read in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's a pastime with the dog. And the dog had belonged to Shivananda Sain. Very nice story. And what happened, the dog was following the party all the time. And especially the dog liked Shivananda Sain. So he was always trying to be with him. And the other devotees, you're going with this dog, right? And so he left one time to do some business, and he told the other devotees to look at the dog, at least give it something to eat, look after it, right? And so then nobody really cared about the dog. And when he left, the dog left. And so when he came back, he asked, well, what about the dog? And they couldn't find the dog. Later on, when they went where Lord Chaitanya was, the dog was with Lord Chaitanya. And not only that, Lord Chaitanya was throwing prasadam for the dog. And the dog was trying to chant, hurry. And Prabhupada said that the dog became a pure devotee. So this question is very nice, pointing to something very nice, because the dog is also spirit soul. So Krishna has something for everyone. And Prabhupada said that anytime there's devotional activity going on, everything benefits, the trees, the animals, everything. In Philadelphia, we used to have this cat come in the morning for Mangalati. We had another dog who used to come for prasadam. So animals are also devotees. They can also become Krishna conscious. If you have an animal or something, you can feed it prasadam, it'll become a devotee in the next life. It can become a devotee in this life. So there's nothing, but but the difficulty is the animals don't have the developed intelligence that makes it very accessible right away. But Krishna is benefiting everyone, the animals and everything like that. Prabhupada saying, if you're chanting, if somebody's chanting loud on a hill, then all the trees are getting the benefit, right? Prabhupada was like that because Prabhupada was chanting, everyone around him was getting the benefit. It's like devotional services like that. If somebody's doing it, everybody around them will get the benefit that they're getting. So it's very nice, very wonderful. Difficult to understand in the beginning, but that just requires some purification. And it's hard to get purified because we don't want to be purified. We fight against it, but we're really fighting our ecstasy. Okay, any more questions? Everybody's good. Everybody's going back to Godhead. Jai, Nitai, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hari Hari.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for coming to the Sunday Feast program. Is anybody coming here for the first time? Please raise your hands. So we'd like to welcome you all, but especially those coming here for the first time with a loud Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Thank you very much. Please come again and again. This is your temple where you can establish your connection with the Supreme Lord and increase that connection more and more by chanting the holy name. Today's Sunday feast is sponsored by few families. Okay. Yeah. Umesh Kaul and family is sponsoring in memory of his father, Shri Makhanlal Kaul. Is he here? Umesh, who is here? Please come. This thing. Garland. Thank you very much, Umesh Prabhu. We have Sushil Prabhu also sponsoring today's feast for Srimati Urmila Sharma, late Srimati Urmila Sharma. So Sushil Prabhu also here. Sushil Prabhu.